Now I realize it's not a well-oiled machine. There's some clauses in there, some discrepancies in there, some little things in there that says, well, what about this and what about that? You know, I don't really know. Is that going to work? It's not going to work. I don't think it's going to work. Well, maybe it would work. I mean, it worked for them to bring Africans over this country. They didn't overthink that shit, did they? You know, so many fucking centuries ago. And Africans over there said, well, take them. You know, that's kind of how it went. It's like, take them, and they took them, and here we are. They didn't overthink the shit. But they made that shit happen. I want a dual citizenship. What about you? Don't you want a dual citizenship? Don't you want a dual citizenship? Don't you want to be able to say, look, I have a citizenship in Africa as well as America, or Africa America? You say, well, now you're thinking, right? That's what he's talking about. Yeah, well, how do you make that happen? It's not very complex, it's very involved. Just fucking, you can make that shit happen. You haven't made that shit happen. You give me enough this, enough that, I'll make the shit happen. You know, for every African who wants, for every African American who wants one. And you will see a lot of fucking Mexican or Latino African Americans. You will see a lot of Asian African Americans. You will see a lot of white African Americans, and you'll see a lot of African Americans like myself, who, like I just said, white ones. You know, like Paris Jackson, who has a black family and black heritage or whatever, and black roots and DNA and whatnot, but she just looks white. Then you'll find them like myself, who has that, but I look black. You have all this kind of spectrums of them over saying, look, I want my dual citizenship over there. They have a lot of land over there, is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't have to be premium land. You don't have to go in there and necessarily assimilate in with them, since you're already fine tuning it, right? You're just like, look, we kind of go over there, we segregate and integrate it back in fashion and manner, you know? You got all kind of Africans out here, African Americans out here. You say, well, does it sound like the silliest idea I've ever heard of? It always does. Until you figure out how to make that shit work. Like going to the fucking moon sounds like the silliest ideas you ever heard of. But I'll tell you, it's easier for us to get our ass to Africa and find dual citizenship over there than it was for them motherfuckers to get their ass to the moon. Yet you don't make it happen. If I had everything it took to line and make it happen, I'd make it happen. You say, well, make it happen for yourself and leave the rest of these motherfuckers alone. There's no power in that. You know, there is a bit of power in that. There's more power in greater numbers. You want to make a better deal for yourself in America? Have it be known that you don't necessarily have to depend upon America and America alone. Have it be known that you're fucking you're a baller. You're a continental baller. You know, you can go to Africa, you can come to America. You earn this shit in America fair and square. You haven't earned anything in Africa by rights. They haven't a wrong they need to right over there because they said take them. You know, for the most part. And at some point, I think they just started taking them literally without going through negotiations and payments and shit like that. And whatever it was, you know, the business over at the end of it, you know, start taking them and saying, oh, let's just take them. Of course, it'll never happen. Especially looking for white people to make it happen, or Latinos to make it happen, or Asians to make it happen, or anything other than blacks to make it happen. And blacks, they're not going to make it happen. They wanted to make it happen. They made it happen a long time ago. You know. So why am I bothering to make this video? I just want you to know how brilliant I am. How I can come up with solutions that no one's going to implement and enact. You know how kind of negotiations you can make in America? Because right now, this shit's not working. It hasn't worked, and it's still not working. It's working better, you say. And it is, I guess, yeah. But if the end result is still total fucking your fault, what's it matter how well it's working right now? It's not working now. It ain't working so well because I'm looking at it, and the prognostication, the prediction is that it's just if you keep going the way you're going, it's not working out collectively. You know, it's just not going to work out. And you can do the stats on that because that's what they are. They're stats and they mean something. I'm a statistic. I was born a statistic. I'm still a statistic. And since I was born a statistic, you know, it proved and panned out to be that I am just that. They said, well, here's a statistic born in 1974 out of East St. Louis, Illinois. And lo and behold, what do you know? I'm a statistic. Turned out to be just that way. Whenever they brought you, or whenever they brought the blacks over from where they were at to bring them over here, if it wasn't going to be fair, like even Steven, or at least 80-20 or some shit, then you are already committed to be a statistic since you don't have the power. Try to negotiate yourself a deal right now. I mean, a Skippy deal, one of those deals that says, well, that's unprecedented. That made a world statement for what blacks just got in America. African America, whatever you want to call it. Huh? And it's just not going to happen, more likely, Like, you got too much as it is already. And maybe you do. If you want to talk about an individual basis, something you can strive out there and get an individual basis. But collectively, what have you got? Michael Jordan doesn't even own Air Jordans. He made $1 billion of shit. What did Nike make? He doesn't know how to get out there and make his own shoe now? Make your own shoe. I'll support the shit. I haven't bought a pair of Jordans a day in my life. And you make some Jordans that's separate from Nike, I'll buy the motherfuckers. On principle. Now you say, what you talking? I tell you what I'm talking. I had to get a charger for a power bank, but charge itself a little bit. I was running about low on battery. I see from time to time, I see these shirts, and there's these ladies walk around these shirts that says, "Know your worth, know your worth, know your worth." Well, you may know your worth. Are you getting your worth? You know. Should I know my fucking worth? I'm not getting my worth. You know. Now, if you got every fucking African American, you got large numbers. It doesn't have to be every fucking one. You got large numbers. From the pawns to the fucking the Barack Obamas out here and everything in between. So just take up and say, look, we're gonna make this happen. We're gonna get a dual citizenship someplace else. Now you're able to fucking say, look, man, you got a lot of people who just left this motherfucking situation, and you might want to prepare for that shit. Like right now, you're working at some job and you're very important, but you're not getting your worth at it, and you're feeling disgruntled, disenfranchised. You can say, okay, well that's cool. You give it to this one, you give it to that one, but you don't give it to me. So now those numbers, that number, whatever that number is just one or so many of them. They say, well, shit, we're getting the fuck out of here. Don't even give them 2 weeks notice. They'll get back. They'll bounce back. Yeah, they'll bounce back. But they're going to take a hit, so they might want to negotiate what the fuck it is that makes you so disgruntled. And this shit ain't fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. I shouldn't be fucking born statistic just because I got color in my skin and the black version or variety of the color. Or brown, whatever the fuck it is. And kinky hair or curly hair. And you say, well, why are you complaining about it? There's a lot of people not complaining about that shit. And that's the fucking problem. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying, look, I'm looking for a solution. I'd like a solution to it. I think that's a viable solution. You can't make that shit happen. There's all kinds of ways to make that happen. You don't even have to negotiate. Just find somebody and get organized and somehow, some way, all you motherfuckers, you're gonna laugh, but I'm serious. Get on, picking large numbers, get on ships, and sell your ass out to Africa. Just like they sold you the fucking over this fucking way. In large fucking numbers, up to millions. Wasn't it? And just post the fuck up. Now they've got a problem. You say, well, that's so fucking avant-garde, that's so fucking extreme. And we go out there and what the fuck have we got? We ain't got this, we ain't got that. Well, shit. You're right. So don't do it. Do this shit. Like it's the only thing you have. For those who say, well, fuck, I don't need all that. I'm Michael fucking Jordan. I guess you are. You're set, right? But for those of you who feel like you got, I don't know. I'm talking to the wrong one then, because you're out in the middle of the ocean. You got something to Bowie on. You're not trying to go to Africa and do all that shit. So why'd I bother with this? Just to let you know that fucking there are solutions, I guess. Now, I could go and talk to a professional expert, and they'll tell me all the reasons why that's just the most inane, silliest, foolish thing ever to fucking consider. But at the same point in time, I still got the same thing to retort. I fucking reply, look, motherfucker. Why is it so difficult? You can get your ass to the moon. You can get your ass from Africa to here. Why is it so difficult to get from here to fucking Africa? It should be much easier, actually, to do that fucking this day and age. All you need is fucking somebody in Africa to say, let's do it. And motherfuckers in America are willing to fucking do it. And you don't even have to talk to the state. And ask the gods of the powers of gods that be over here. Ask the powers of the gods of America. Hey, can I do this? Can I do that? Because that's what you do all the time. Can I do this? Can I do that? Can we have this? Can we have that? I don't know. You ever heard that shit? There goes the neighborhood. There goes the neighborhood in fucking reverse. Ice Cube.